Hello, my name is Lucio, and welcome to the show. This week, I read this book, Heaven and Hell, by Swedenborg. Heaven and Hell is a book of theology written in 1758, and it discusses the topics of the afterlife, more specifically, what happens to the physical body after death. It concerns itself with spirits, and it postulates a theory that there are three heavens, just as well as there are three hells, and the primary level of heaven is the innermost level of heaven, and closest to God or the Lord. I did not enjoy this book that much. I thought the writing was fair and largely uninspired, and most of the arguments are inconsistent with each other. For example, on page 92, it says, everything comes from the divine, which means that both good and evil, both good come from the divine, not necessarily evil. When you argue with theologians in the past or present, they will largely say that everything comes from God or heaven. However, they ignore evil and blame it on the devil, in which God created the devil, essentially. One quote from the Bible is Isaiah 45:7, King James Version. I form the light and create darkness, I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So even in their own book, the Lord admits that He creates evil as well as good. When you say that everything comes from the divine, you must include evil, otherwise whence cometh the evil? Moreover, further along the book, if I can find it, on page 134, with the title being, there is a correspondence of everything in heaven with everything in the human being. People today, quote, do not know what correspondence is. There are many reasons for this ignorance, the primary one being that we have moved away from heaven because of our love for ourselves and for the world. You see, people who love themselves and the world above all focus on nothing but earthly matters because these provide gratification to their most outward senses and pleasures to their moods. This argument can be attributed to the space exploration of billionaires, with Jeff Bezos of Amazon recently flying a rocket or a spacecraft into space, and also Elon Musk, who wants to move away from the single planetary species into a multi-planetary species. The relation between this comes from those who say we should focus on earthly matters such as pollution, global warming, or the like. However, Carl Sagan argues that you shouldn't, and that you should be optimistic about the future of space exploration. I had a hard time reading this book, not because it was difficult, but because I disagree with everything that was found within the book. The introduction of the book in this translation is by far the most interesting introduction I read thus far. However, the rest of the book falls short and is largely uninteresting and more of a slog or requirement to get through because it is considered a classic of theology, and sometimes you read a classic that is just not good and you wonder why it's a classic, like the Pilgrim's Progress. Overall, if you're a theologian or a Christian, you may not agree with everything he says, because he says that salvation from the Lord does not come from faith alone, but from deeds, and that relies more on Protestantism or the like. However, if you believe in God and you're interested in the spirit world, then this is a book for you.